Yo, what is going on guys? It's Ant, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a Pokemon Shield, Hardcore Nuzlocke, Shiny only. Now, if you're wondering what a Hardcore Nuzlocke is, let me explain. It's pain. Nah, for real, the rules are kind of simple, and you can find them all down in the description. We're going to be following all of these rules whilst only using Shiny Pokemon 2, with each Shiny coming in at an odds of 1 in 4096. So yeah, this took a very long time. Also, if you're new to the channel, then welcome. I'm Ant and I make a variety of Pokemon challenge content, and if you like what you see, then I think you're going to enjoy it here. So let's see if we can grow this channel to 10,000 subscribers. We're extremely close to 6k right now, which is insane. I appreciate you sticking with me whilst I've been sick too. We're finally back, and without further ado, let's go get into the video. So our journey is going to start off with us in Postwick Town, and Champion Leon's going to be giving us our starter Pokemon. Now we can only choose out of Grookey, Scorbunny and Sobble. Now I tried to pick strategically and went with Sobble because I thought it was going to make Hop pick Grookey, which has a disadvantage to flying, because I plan to find myself a Rookie D on Route 1. Now this didn't actually work all that great for me because Hop actually chooses the starter Pokemon that has a disadvantage to your starter, but that also means that if I do find a Rookie D on the next route, which is definitely the best Pokemon, I now have a disadvantage against his starter. We'll come back to that in a minute though, because for now we've got to go get into our first rival battle with Hop. This rival battle won't count towards a run because we can't get any shiny Pokemon beforehand, easily taking down both of his Pokemon as we defeat Hop. So I mentioned that now we're going to have a disadvantage against this starter, and the reason this is because on the first route we actually end up finding a shiny Rookie D as well. We go capture this up, I'm not going to complain, at least not much, but Rookie D is going to evolve into a steel flying top, which means we're going to get a disadvantage against Hop's starter Pokemon eventually. On the next route also we go find ourselves a shiny Zigzagoon Galar, so I also go capture this up quickly as well before heading down to Professor Magnolia's, where we're going to go get into our first real rival battle of a run against Hop. Now I know I said Trophy was going to be a bit of a problem, but actually in this starting fight it was really good. So Hop's going to go send out his Wooloo, I'm going to go send out Trophy, and I'm going to go for 4 Hone Claws here to go put myself into +4 attack, +4 accuracy, before then starting to go for a sweep with Power Trip. This move's base damage increases with all of my stat multipliers. I go take down the Wooloo, I then go take down the Scorbunny after, and then I go take down his own Rookie D to defeat Hop, allowing us to now go and get access to the wild area, where I immediately go and start shiny hunting again, finding myself a shiny Growlithe. After weakening this with a little bit of chip damage, I go and capture the Growlithe and give it a nickname of K9. We then head into the next city, where we've got to go get into another rival fight with Hop again already. So just like the last fight, I'm going to go put Trophy into +4 attack, +4 accuracy with Hone Claws, and then I'm going to go for a Power Trip sweep. I take down his Wooloo with a one-shot, his Scorbunny goes down to a one-shot, and his Rookie D after also goes down to a one-shot as we go and defeat Hop. Heading into the Galar Mine, where we defeat some more trainers, grow a few more levels, and are able to go and evolve Trophy into a Corvisquire. And we also do the same thing here with our Zigzagoon Galar, evolving this into a Linoon, getting stopped at the end of a mine for our first battle against Bade. I really don't know how to pronounce this guy's name, honestly. I'm going to struggle with it throughout the entire video, but not in the fights. I go and lead our Linoon, and although my level cap is actually at level 20 right now, I can still take on this fight with Linoon Galar only, without any worry of over leveling. We go for a Night Slash and a Solosis and take this down with a one-shot. We also do the same thing to his Hatena after, and then finally we're up against his final Pokemon, Gothita. We go take this down with a one-shot as well and defeat Bade, heading into the first gym after. So we complete the first gym mission, and now we're going to go get into the first gym battle of the run against Milo. So Milo's a grass type trainer, so I'm going to be leading K9. And I'm going to start by using Howl on the first turn as well to go get my attack higher. And because I see that the round isn't doing too much damage, I'm going to go for a second Howl and put myself into +2. Now from here, what I decide to do is I'm going to go Dynamax my Growlithe, and I'm going to go for a Max Flare on the Gossifleur, and this takes down Milo's first Pokemon without any issue. So next up then he's going to send out his Eldegoss, the final Pokemon, and he's going to go Dynamax this himself as well. And his Eldegoss, that's not going to be anything to worry about. We're also going to go take this down as well with a one-shot from Max Flare, and with this done we're going to defeat Milo and get ourselves our first gym badge of a run. After getting our first gym badge, we've got to go get into our next rival fight with Hop, and here this is actually my 8th Howl this fight. but because a Wooloo keeps using growl, it's negating every boost that I make. And when I finally get myself into +3, I go for a flame wheel on the Wooloo, and I can go take this down with a critical hit. After this, Hop sends out Corvisquire, who goes down to a +3 attack flame wheel, and I go take down his Raboot after with 2 bites. And with this done, that's Hop defeated. Now because I got Nessa coming up next as well, I decide I'm going to start shiny hunting again. And I go find myself a shiny Stuffle. I go capture this up, and I actually go back a route as well, because I still don't feel like we've got enough of a team to actually defeat Nessa. And in a route previously, I also found myself a Pikachu as well. So I also go capture this up quickly. And now we're going to go get into Nessa's gym. So Nessa here, the water type trainer, is going to lead off with Goldeen. And I'm going to start off with my Pikachu. A Spark on the first turn is going to put the Goldeen onto really low life and put it under paralysis as well. And that helps us actually because we're not going to lose any damage this turn. And I go finish off the Goldeen with a quick attack. Next up then she sends out an Arrokuda, and this also goes down to a one-shot from Spark. And that's going to put us into our final Pokemon, Dreadnought. So against Dreadnought here, I'm going to go immediately Dynamax. And Nessa's also going to Dynamax her Dreadnought as well. And from here I go for Max Lightning. This is going to knock it down into Half-Life. And after putting Nessa's Dreadnought into Half-Life, I take a Max Darkness, which does a lot of damage to me as well, as then I'm able to go on the next turn for a second Max Lightning, take down a final Pokemon, and earn ourselves our second gym badge of a run. And with that second gym badge got, we're now going to go get into another kind of rival fight with, I always get this guy's name wrong, I'm going to say Bede, I don't know. You're just gonna have to accept it. Leave down in the comments how it's supposed to be pronounced, please. And basically this fight is just a sweep for Linoone. I'm literally just spamming Night Slash for most of this fight, one-shotting nearly all of Bade's Pokemon apart from the Ponyta, which goes down to 2 headbutts. To defeat Bede, whichever it might be. But that's not all, I've also got another rival fight pretty much after with Marnie as well in the hotel before the 3rd gym. She's a dark type trainer, and I'm leading Linoone again. I go for a headbutt on the first turn trying to get a flinch, and this actually happens as well, so we can go take down the Krogunk without any issues. After this then she sends out her Scraggy. I'm going to go try the same thing again, I'm going to go for a headbutt, try and get a flinch. This doesn't work and we actually end up taking a low kick now, which almost kills us, so that's kind of worrying. I instantly go make a switch here over into Trophy, take another low kick, and from here I can go take down the Scraggy with a peck. Now with that done, that's going to put us into her final Pokemon, Morpeko, and I instantly go make a switch here over into my Stuffle, take a bite, and now we're just doing a massive back and forth. They're hitting me with Thunder Shock every turn, I'm hitting them with Strength every turn, and after about 3 turns of doing this, we can take down the Morpeko, and we can defeat Marnie. I head back into one of the earlier routes here before Kofu's gym as I go looking for a new shiny, finding myself a shiny Roly-Poly as I go capture this up. So that Roly-Poly we just caught is literally getting evolved immediately, just in time for us to go get into the next gym fight against Kabu. He's going to lead off here with a Ninetales as well. Now this fight's actually going to be one of my most hardest so far of the run. I'm going to lead off with Linoone, and I'm going to start trying to spam some headbutts. I take a Will-O-Wisp on the first turn though, so now I'm going to start doing even less damage. It's fine though, I continue to spam this for multiple turns until the Ninetales goes down. With the Ninetales down now as well, that's going to put us up against his Arcanine, and I'm going to switch immediately over into my Growlithe. Now because of this, I can go give the Arcanine an Intimidate attack drop. I go make a switch here, then over into my Pikachu, hit the Arcanine with a Thunder Wave, and then swap once again after. Now I'm kind of undecided who I want to switch into here, but I do decide I'm going to go put the Arcanine under a second Intimidate attack drop. With that done then, I'm going to make another switch over into Tango, and my idea here is basically because of Tango's ability, if I can make a switch here over into Showdron and bait a fire type move, it would activate my ability and put me into maximum speed. Now unfortunately that didn't happen as it went for Will-O-Wisp, but the plan's going to have to still continue. So I go Dynamax my Carkol, and I'm going to go hit the Arcanine here with a Max Rockfall. Now this is going to take down the remainder of its HP. And with that done, it's going to put us into his final Pokemon, Centiskorch. Now with Centiskorch out, he's going to go Dynamax his final Pokemon, and on his turn after taking a hit from the Centiskorch, I'm going to go hit this with a Max Rockfall, take this down with a one-shot, and that's Kabu defeated for the 3rd gym badge of a run. Now one thing that I didn't actually realise is that Tango was literally 1 level away from evolving and was able to be evolved before we went into the gym as well, so that's a mistake on my end. We go evolve our stuff all over into Beware, and we go get into another rival battle against Hop. Hop here is going to lead off with a Cramorant, so I lead Sparky, and we go take this down with a Spark. And then nextly he sends out Silicobra, which is a ground type, so immediately I'll go and make a hard switch here over into Trophy. So this actually wasn't going as greatly as I wanted it to as well, because Brutal Swing was actually doing quite a bit of damage to us as well. And ends up putting Trophy on quite low life after we finally take this down with a couple power trips. From here though, Trophy's not going to live another hit, so I do switch my Corvisquire here over into Tango, and I got hit the Toxel with a Strength, which is a one shot. From here then we got Raboot, it's going to hit us with Round, and a Strength's going to knock it down into one shot, and then we're going to go finish this off on the next turn with a second Strength and defeat Hop. What's great as well is our new level cap is going to allow me to go and evolve Showdron from a Carkol over into Colossal, and with that we go complete the next gym mission and go head into the battle against Alistair. Alistair's leading out with his Yamask. I'm going to go lead with my Linoon Galar, and I'll go take down his lead Pokemon with a Night Slash. Secondly, then he sends out Mimikyu. I'm going to go break its disguise and then make a switch here over into Pikachu and start having a bit of a back and forth, trying to do a bit of chip damage to it with Spark while it hits me with a critical hit slash. With this, I'm going to make a little switch here over into Canine. I wanted to give it an Intimidate attack drop and also wanted to go finish it off. And we go hit this with a Flame Wheel to take him down. Nextly, then we've got Cursula. I hit this with a Crunch, knock it down into Half-Life. And Cursula's going to respond to us with Ancient Power, which I didn't even realise it knew. That's going to take down K9, and it caused us to get our first death of a run. That hasn't went too badly for us though, because I can now safely go back into my Linoon Galar. I can go Dynamax this, and hit the Cursula with a Max Darkness, which is going to finish off the remainder of its HP, putting us into Alistair's final Pokemon, which is a Gengar. Alistair's also going to immediately Dynamax this as it's his final Pokemon. And I do outspeed here, so I'll go hit this with a Max Darkness. And it's going to be enough to finish off the Gengar as well and defeat Alistair to help us earn our 4th gym badge of a run. And immediately after beating Alistair, we have to go get into another fight with Bede, I don't know. And again, it's just going to be another sweep. I'm going to hit his Duosion with a Night Slash, and this is a one-shot. Next Pokemon Bede uses is Hattrem, which also goes down to a Night Slash. Same with a Ponyta. And also same with his final Pokemon, Gothorita. And with that done, that's Bed defeated. And because our level cap has actually gone and increased since Alistair as well, I can now finally go evolve my Corvisquire into a Corviknight. Heading up to the next town after to go get into the 5th gym fight of a run against Opal. Opal uses Fairy type Pokemon, and I'm going to lead off with our newly evolved Corviknight. I'm going to start off by using some Hone Claws. With doing this, I raise my attack and my accuracy. And Weezing can't really do much damage to us with its Fairy Wind attack, so it's a perfect Pokemon to set up against. And once going to +1, I go hit this with a Steel Wing that doesn't take it down. I get hit by another Fairy Wind after, and then I go take down the Weezing with a Drill Peck. Morwile comes in after, and that's a 2-shot to Steel Wing. Togekiss also comes in as well, and that's another 2-shot to Steel Wing as well. And now lastly we're up against Opal's final Pokemon. I'm going to go Dynamax my Corviknight, and Opal's also going to go Dynamax her Alchemy as well. Before I go hit this with a +1 Max Steel Spike, leave it on very low life, and then go take it down on the next turn with a second Max Steel Spike to defeat Opal and earn ourselves our 5th gym badge of a run. I'm honestly not sure why I didn't Hone Claws log another 1 or 2 more times, because I had the perfect chance to set up, but I seem to have only done it once. Opal's defeat though is going to go put me into another rival battle with Hop on Route 7, and I'm leading off Chaldron here against the Trevenant, and I go take this down with 2 Flame Charges. Whilst fighting the Trevenant, I also set up some Stealth Rocks as well, and now I'm starting to try and do some damage to the Boltund. But what this does is, it goes and uses Roar and takes me out of the fight, forcing me to switch over into Punk as I go finish off the Boltund with a Headbutt. I switch once again after though to go over into Trophy against a Heatmore, because I know that Heatmore's going for a Bug type move here. And then what I do afterwards is I go make another switch from Trophy over into Chaldron, trying to bait a Fire type move, which ends up happening. So that activates our ability Steam Engine and puts me into maximum speed. With that then I can go for 2 Smackdowns and take down the Heatmore. And now we've got Snorlax. And Snorlax here was actually really annoying. I had to spam Smackdown so many times, and I eventually ended up taking it down for a critical hit, which came at the perfect time. Now with all that done, that's going to leave us with Hop's final Pokemon, Cinderace. And 2 Smackdowns after Stealth Rock damage is going to be enough to take down the Cinderace and help me defeat Hop. Once arriving to the next city, I go complete the gym mission, and I'm going to go get into the 6th gym fight of a run against Melanie. She's an ice type trainer, so this is going to work out really nicely for us. She starts off with Frostmoth. I'm going to go lead Chowdron, and I set up Stealth Rocks on the first turn. After this then, I'll go for 2 double super effective flame charges and take down her first Pokemon. Next Pokemon then she sends out is Darmanitan, and I'm just trying to do a bit of chip damage to this right now, as they can't really do too much damage to me. And on the next turn as Darmanitan turns into its Zen form, I go hit this with a Smackdown and finish off the rest of its HP. With Darmanitan down, that's then going to put us into her next Pokemon, which is Ice Cube. And I thought Flame Charge was going to finish this off here, but it doesn't. As I then go and make a switch here over into Sparky and take down the Ice Cube with a Thunderbolt. Having taken down Melanie's first 3 Pokemon, we then get into her last. And her final Pokemon is Lapras. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go and Dynamax Pikachu, whilst Melanie's also going to go and Dynamax her Lapras as well. 1 max lightning after stone damage is going to put it just below half-life. And then from here, what I decide I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to try and waste some of Melanie's Dynamax moves. So I'll go and use Max Guard on the second turn of Dynamax. And then on the last turn of Dynamax, I'm going to go switch out my Pikachu. And I'm going to go over into Trophy. Take a Max Geyser, which also puts Trophy down onto low life as well. But because of this, we've now ended her Lapras's Dynamax. So I'm going to go make another switch now from Trophy over into Tango. Take a Surf on switch, which did a lot more damage than I was predicting, but from here I'm going to go for a Hammer Arm, take down the rest of Lapras's HP, and defeat Melanie for the 6th gym badge of a run. Now, annoyingly, I have to go get into another rival fight with Hop after getting the 6th gym badge. So in this next rival fight against Hop, I'm leading off here with Tango, and I go for a Hammer Arm on the Dewball, which is a one-shot. He then next sends out Corviknight, and I make a switch here from Tango over into Pikachu. Take a Scary Face on switch, which isn't really going to do too much to us, because after this I take 2 Drill Picks and can go finish off the Corviknight with 2 Thunderbolts. As the next Pokemon he then sent out was Cinderace, I go and make a quick hard switch over into Showdron. Take a Pyro Ball on switch, doesn't do much damage, activates my ability, puts me into maximum speed, and I go take the Cinderace down with 2 Smackdowns. From here then, we get Pincursion, and this almost killed me. I did not realise that I had Bubble Beam for some reason, so yeah, that almost didn't go as great as I thought it was going to go. I make a hard switch over into Punk, take another Bubble Beam on switch, and from here with 2 Headbutts, I can go take down the Pincursion, getting us into Hop's Snorlax. As Snorlax comes, I go and make a quick switch over into Trophy, take a Body Slam on the switch, pray that we don't get paralyzed, go for our Hone Claws, start trying to boost up my attack a little bit, and can go take down the Snorlax with 2 Drill Pecks. With that done, that's Hop defeated, causing us to get into another rival fight now with Marnie outside the next town. I forgot the name of it. This is fine though, because Marnie's not actually going to be too hard to fight either, as she's the dark type based trainer. She sends out a Lipard, and Lipard's going to go down to a one-shot from Hammer Arm. It's the same thing for a Scrafty as well. I go take this down with a one-shot too. Toxicroak after was a little harder due to not actually being a dark type. I go make a hard switch over into Trophy, take a Swagger on switch, and go finish this off with a Drill Peck. Now with that done, that's going to put us into our last Pokemon, Morpeko. I make a hard switch here over into Punk, and I go for a Pin Missile on the Morpeko, knocking it down into really low life and getting put under Paralysis before switching once again over into Sparky. Marnie annoyingly uses a Hyper Potion. She's a cheat and doesn't realise that's not allowed in battling Nuzlocks, but I'm joking. With this, I go and make a switch from Pikachu over into Tango, and I go hit the Morpeko with a Hammer Arm and finish off the remainder of its HP to defeat Marnie and to be able to get access to this city, because in this city is the 7th gym. So we go and get into the fight with Pierce here, and Pierce, just like Marnie, is another dark type trainer, and he also has a Scrafty as well. So I did go and lead Beware, but because Pierce Scrafty has the ability Intimidate, I'm now on -1 attack, which means I have to go for 2 Hammer Arms to take down the Scrafty instead of 1. From here then, Pierce goes and sends out Malamar, so I make a hard switch over into Trophy to dodge any Psychic type attacks. And I thought Trophy was going to handle this quite well. Malamar goes for Foul Play and it does a lot of damage. And I also go and put it under Swagger as well, because I know that Malamar's got Contrary, but basically Foul Play goes off my attack stat and not the Malamar's, so it's still doing doing a lot of damage, and I didn't realise that until this turn. So I did try to go for a home clause to see if I could settle, but from here I realised that's not going to be possible. And I've got to make a hard switch over into Punk. Even against Punk, Foul Play was still doing quite a lot of damage. But what's nice is I can go for Pin Missile, and we end up hitting this 4 times in a row as well, which was enough to take down the Malamar. So against Pierce's Obstagoon here, I'm going to start trying to use some Baby Doll Eyes, and what I noticed is Obstagoon just continues to try and use counter every time, so I just continue doing this. I drop the Obstagoon onto -6 attack, then make a hard switch over into Beware. It tries to go for counter on the switch and it doesn't work. Its Throat Chop on the turn after literally does single digit damage, and I can go finish this off with a double super effective Hammer Arm, take down the Obstagoon, and put us into Pierce's final Pokemon, which is Skuntank. Goes for a Screech. I then go and hit this with a Hammer Arm, knock it into low life before then switching over into Chowdron. The Skuntank goes for a Sucker Punch and it doesn't work. It then hits me with another Sucker Punch on the next turn, but that's fine because I'm going to go for a Heat Crash, take down that last little bit of HP, and can defeat Pierce to get the 7th Gym Badge. With Pierce defeated now, I've got Raihan next, and I'm still down to 5 Pokemon because of K9 dying earlier. So with that in mind, I go out to another part of a wild area and start shiny hunting, eventually coming across a shiny Quagsire. And I was specifically looking for this as well, as I knew it was going to help me against Raihan, so I go and capture this up. Now from here, I'm also going to go pick up the TM for Ice Beam before then getting into the fight with Raihan. So the fight against Raihan here is a double battle, and Raihan's a Dragon type trainer. He's starting off with a Gigalith and Flygon. So I lead off with Trophy and our new Quagsire, and we take a breaking swipe on the first turn. Flygon also takes a bit of recoil damage due to my Rocky Helmet. I'm doing a bit of chip damage to the Gigalith here as well with Steel Wing before using Ice Beam with Muddy on the Flygon and taking this down. With a Flygon down then, we've got Sandaconda, and I'm going to go hit this with an Ice Beam as well, which a Sandaconda literally survives with about 1 HP, but thankfully it goes for a Fire Fang on Corviknight and takes itself down to my Rocky Helmet. Trophy's next Steel Wing as well will be enough to take down the Gigalith. And that would just put us into Raihan's final Pokemon, which is Duraludon. So he sends out Duraludon and instantly Dynamaxes it. And I'm going to go do the same here as well and go Dynamax my Quagsire. And I start off by going for a Max Hailstorm. Now I know it's only going to do neutral damage, and I could have went for a super effective attack instead. But my idea here was, because of Duraludon's low special defense, I wanted to go for this instead. It's also going to be able to change the weather as well, even though it's not really going to do way too much for us. But because of some chip damage I was able to do with Trophy on the last turn, after going for this Max Hailstorm, I'm able to go for another Drill Peck on the Duraludon, and this will be enough to finish off that last tiny bit of HP it's got left to help us defeat Raihan and earn our 8th Gym Badge of a run. With all that now, even though it's long overdue, I finally decided it's time to evolve Punk from a Linoon Galar over into an Obstagoon. And because I've unlocked new places in the wild area now as well, I go find myself a Thunderstone, and I can go evolve Pikachu over into a Raichu. With this done now, we can go ahead into the qualifying rounds for the tournament, getting into our first battle of the qualifiers against Marnie. Marnie's still pretty much got the same team as she's had every single time, so I'm going to lead off with Beware here and take down her Lipard with a one-shot from Hammer Arm. The next Pokemon Marnie has out after is her Scrafty, and because it doesn't have Intimidate, I can also take this down to a one-shot with Hammer Arm as well, putting us into our third Pokemon then, which is Toxicroak. So I'll go make a hard switch here over into Trophy, dodge a Toxic, and then it uses Swagger on me, which is kind of annoying because it puts me under confusion. And what doesn't help is the fact that I use Hone Claws as well, which makes my attack go even higher. So if at any point here while I'm +3 I get hurt by confusion, I'm going to take a lot more damage than what I would have took. And on the next turn here, I actually end up snapping out of confusion, which is absolutely perfect. I go for a Drill Peck on the Toxicroak and we go take this down. And why this is absolutely perfect is because when I go and Dynamax my Corviknight on the next turn, I can go for a Max Airstream on her Morpeko, and this is a one-shot. And now lastly, we just got her final Pokemon, which is Grimmsnarl. So she's going to go and Dynamax this, and I'll go for a +3 Steel Spike. This is a one-shot. We go take down her Grimmsnarl, and that's Marnie defeated. Now lastly, we have our final battle of the qualifying rounds, and that's against Hop. So in my battle against Hop here, he's going to start off with Dewball. I'm starting off with Tango, and 2 hammer arms on the Dewball will be enough to go and take this down. And with the Dewball down, it's going to put us into his second Pokemon, which is Snorlax. So I go hit this with a hammer arm as well, and this is a one-shot. Nextly then, we've got Corviknight, and I did decide to stay in here as well because 2 hammer arms from Beware here is enough to take down the Corviknight. I then switch after once Pincurchin comes out over into Quagsire. Knock the Pincurchin onto really low life. Hop then heals the Pincurchin. My Ice Beam also freezes this as well, which would have been really nice, but it kind of came at the wrong time. I then go and finish this off with a Dig, and we go get into Hop's final Pokemon, which is Cinderace. He's going to go and immediately Dynamax this. I go and Dynamax Quagsire as well. Take a Max Airstream straight after, which doesn't do way too much damage. And from here, I can go for 2 Max Quakes, take down the Cinderace, and defeat Hop. And with the qualifiers finished, we've got to battle Olena. She's going to send out a Frostlass. I actually ended up starting off with Beware here as well, which is probably not the best option. But thankfully I did have access to Brutal Swing and was able to take down the Frostlass with 2 of those. I switch after though because I got burnt by the Will-O-Wisp, and also because I'm against a Tisarena here, so I go over into Trophy. Take an Acrobatics on switch, which is probably going to hurt the Tisarena way more than it ever hurt me, thanks to my Rocky Helmet. And I can go take this down with a double super effective Drill Peck after. With that then, that's going to go put us into her third Pokemon. I go make another instant hard switch because her third Pokemon is Salazzle. And it goes for Incinerate, which is perfect because I basically was trying to bait a fire type move so I could unlock Steam Engine and put myself into maximum speed. With that then, I go for 2 Smackdowns and we go take down the Salazzle. Nextly, we get Milotic. I go make another hard switch over into Muddy. Now this was actually really annoying because Milotic didn't have any other moves that it could do to hurt us due to Water Absorb, so every turn it was just spamming Recover. Every bit of chip damage I was doing to it was literally just getting taken straight off it. So eventually I hit this with an Earthquake, knocked it again to just above Half-Life, and decided from here that I was going to switch, making the switch over into my Raichu. And again, the Milotic goes for Recover. This is like the 7th time this happened in a fight as well. I was actually getting so annoyed, but this was the only way to get around this. I switch over into Sparky and take down the Milotic with 2 Thunder Punches. Now with that then, it's going to put us into our final Pokemon, Garbodor. I'm going to go make another switch straight back over into Quagsire. Olena's going to Dynamax Garbodor, and it's going to hit me with a Max Quake. On the next turn here, I've Dynamaxed myself as well. Take another Max Quake. Basically here, while we're both Dynamax, we're just going to be doing some back and forths, and after 2 Max Quakes of my own, I'm able to take down the Garbodor and defeat Olena. With all this done now, I can go get back into the championship tournament. And my first fight of the tournament is going to be against Bade. I'm leading Beware here. I go for 2 Hammer Arms, take down the Mawile, make a hard switch straight after against a Gardevoir, straight over into Trophy. It's trying to set up a few Calm Minds against me, but due to it being a Fairy type and not being able to do too much damage to me, I'm going to start trying to set up some Hone Claws so I can boost my own attack stat. And then after this, I'll go for a Steel Wing and take down the Gardevoir with a one-shot. The next Pokemon then is Rapidash Galar. We go take this down with a one-shot to Steel Wing as well. And this is going to put us against his last Pokemon, which is Hatterene. So I actually did not realize that he only had 4 Pokemon in this fight. So I made a massive mistake here because I did not realize he was going to Gigantamax. I go for the Steel Wing, it doesn't do enough damage. And then we take a Max Flare from a Dynamax Hatterene and we end up surviving with 9 HP. We literally almost died there because of that. It's kind of scary. I decided after this though, because they had Dynamax, I was going to Dynamax myself, even though I definitely didn't need it. And I go take down the Hatterene with a Max Steel Spike to defeat Bade. That was close though. I was kind of worried about Corviknight. As soon as I saw the Gigantamax, I was worried. But then I saw Max Flare as well. I was like, oh no. No, but we survived, which is nice. So that all went well in the end. After beating Bade, we go get into a fight with Nessa, Water type trainer just from earlier that we won the second gym badge off. And she's leading Golisopod here, so I lead Sparky. We go for a Thunderbolt, knock the Golisopod down into low life. And then she goes and gets the emergency exit. Next Pokemon then is Barraskewda. I go take it down with a Thunder Punch. Seeking as well is also a one-shot to Thunder Punch as well, so we go take this down. She then sends back in Golisopod, which gets the full restore. And while it's at full life, I hit this with a Thunderbolt, knock it back down into low life, and it gets its emergency exit again. So she's going to go switch over into a Pelipper, another one-shot to Thunder Punch. Golisopod comes back in straight after, and this time I'm actually going to go make a switch here over into Trophy. Now this is because when she sends out her final Pokemon, I want to be able to Dynamax at the right time. Golisopod goes for a liquidation. It does a lot more damage than I was actually expecting, but it takes itself down to the Rocky Helmet. And with all that now, she's up to her final Pokemon. She sends out her Dreadnought. She goes and Gigantamaxes this immediately. I'm also going to go Dynamax Trophy as well. And this wasn't going as great as I was planning, so I was taking a lot more damage than I thought. And it got to the point where I had to go and use Max Guard just to waste the final turn of a Dreadnought's Dynamax. That was great though, because now I can switch Trophy, go over into Tango. And on the very next turn after doing this, I go hit the Dreadnought with a Hammer Arm, take this down, and that's Nessa defeated. So now with Nessa down, there's only 2 more trainers we need to defeat in the championship before we can go get into the final battle. So the next match now is against Alistair, Ghost type trainer that we fought earlier for the 4th gym badge. And they're going to start off with Dusknoir, so I go send out Obstagoon. 2 Night Slashes straight away can go take down his Dusknoir. Thankfully in the fight with Alistair as well, when he sends out Chandelure, which outspeeds Obstagoon, I managed to dodge a Will-O-Wisp. Will-O-Wisp would have burned me and made my attacking stat much weaker, so I was happy that I dodged that. And I go take down the Chandelure with a Night Slash. Same thing happens to a Poltergeist as well. And then I also go take down the Cursor as well with a 1-shot to Night Slash too. The same Cursor that caused me to have a death earlier in my run. So it was a really nice revenge kill. Now from this then, Alistair's going to send out Gengar. He's going to Gigantamax. I'm also going to go Dynamax my Obstagoon as well. Take a Max Ooze. And then reply with a Max Darkness, which takes down the Gengar with a 1-shot, and we defeat Alistair. Putting us into our final battle of the championship now, in a rematch with Raihan. The deciding battle for who's going to fight Leon. So Raihan in this battle is not actually a double battle either, which is nice. He starts off with Torkoal, and I'm actually going to start off with Sparky here. And I'm going to go for 2 Thunderbolts on the Torkoal and go take this down. The next Pokemon then is Flygon, so I go make a switch here over into Trophy, just because I know it's going for Earthquake. So we go and dodge that due to being Flying type. And I just start spamming some Drill Pecks until the Flygon eventually goes down. Next Pokemon then is Turtonator. We hard switch over into Muddy. And I go for 2 Earthquakes on the Turtonator to go take this down as well. So with the Turtonator down next, we've got Goodra. And immediately I'm going to set up a Toxic on this. It's got really high special defenses, so just spamming Ice Beam isn't going to be enough. But what's nice actually is Goodra didn't have any attacks to hurt us with, so it kept going for Muddy Water and healing us. And after 2 Earthquakes and a bit of poison damage, we do take down the Goodra. And with that Goodra down, that's going to go put us into Raihan's final Pokemon. I immediately go Dynamax my Quagsire. He's going to go Gigantamax Duraludon. I was kind of worried as well because G-Max Depletion basically takes PP out of my move, and I was expecting to have no PP left. But I did have some, and it was just enough. Especially with the fact that Duraludon was on a damage roll as well, so if we didn't take it down on this turn, we probably would have no Max Quakes left. And not only that, but Raihan would heal as well. So he thankfully managed to take it down. I'm pretty sure that was a damage roll. And because of looking out with the damage roll, we defeat Raihan, which means we won the tournament. Now with that, all that's left to beat is our match with champion Leon. But before we can actually get to that championship match with Leon, we have to head back to Hammerlock. Chairman Rose has basically lost the plot, and we need to stop him from what he's about to do. I lead off with Quagsire here against the Escavalier. We're not doing much damage with Earthquake. I noticed here as well after it hits me with Mega Horn that I'm definitely not going to survive another shot, so I'm going to make a hard switch here over into Shaldron. It goes for a Mega Horn on us on switch, but we dodge it, and we go take this down with a double super effective Flame Charge after. With that then, we've also got Ferrothorn, and this is double super effective to Flame Charge as well, but it does take us 2 of these to take this down. The next Pokemon then he sends out is Klinklang. 2 Flame Charges as well on this will also take this down too, so we take down his 3rd Pokemon. Moving then into Berserker. This goes down to a 1-shot from Heat Crash, maybe due to a critical hit, but I think it would have went down anyway. And lastly we got Copperages, so I'm going to go instantly Dynamax my Colossal. Chairman Rose is also going to go and Gigantamax this. And I go for a Max Flare, which puts it just below half-life. Now what's crazy here is it goes for Max Quake. This is double super effective on Chowdron, and Chowdron survives on 1 HP. Chowdron genuinely pulled through. We go for a second Max Flare after and take down the Copperaja to defeat Chairman Rose. We genuinely looked out there because we probably should have died. Now because of what Chairman Rose did, we've got to try and stop Eternatus. I send out Muddy to begin with, take a Dragon Pulse which does about 60% of my HP before going for an Earthquake, which puts Eternatus down into about a similar kind of life as well. Now I know I get a bit of leftovers recovery here, but I'm not risking it. I'll go make a switch here over into Trophy. It actually goes for cross poison here as well, which doesn't affect me, so that's nice. Dragon Pulse also is not doing way too much damage, so I'm able to spam a couple drill pecks here to go finish off the Eternatus. But that's not our only fight against it, because we've also got to go fight Gigantamax Eternatus straight after. Now this is the one I was really worried about, because I was kind of scared that if Eternatus keeps hitting my Pokemon, I might get a death or two here, as I try and sit around and kind of wait for Zacian and Zamazenta to basically carry me through this fight. And my fear of possibly losing a Pokemon genuinely appeared when I saw this Max Flare, because I knew already who it was going for. Went for Trophy, and Trophy tanked it somehow. I'm really not sure how, to be honest, but it did. I'm not staying in to risk another turn and see what Eternatus wants to do next, though. So I go make a switch here over into Muddy, and we go take another move after before Eternatus finally gets defeated. With that, we've managed to save the Galar region. I start going through my pre-motivational Rocky phase, running up the stairs, and then we go get into the fight with Champion Leon. So Champion Leon here is going to start off with his first Pokemon being Aegislash, and knowing this, I start in Muddy so I can go for an easy counter. It first off starts by changing its stance into attack form, which is great for us because it means its defense is going to be terrible. It hits us with a Shadow Ball as well, which does just over half of our life, but because it's got no defense as it's in attack form here, I can go finish this off with a one-shot to Earthquake. The next Pokemon then is Rillaboom. Being a grass type while I'm a water ground type is not good, so I go switch immediately over into Trophy, and Rillaboom actually decides to go for Endeavor instead, and this is what Rillaboom keeps trying to go for as well. So what I decided was I was going to let it keep trying to do that to me, so I let it do this for a few turns whilst not going for a hit, because I didn't want to lose too much life against the Endeavor move. Letting the Rillaboom chip itself down a little bit before I go for a Drill Peck and finish it off. The third Pokemon then is Dragapult, knowing Flamethrower as well, which is scary. I could only do a bit of chip damage to this through Drill Peck. I didn't feel like I was going to survive another Flamethrower, so I go make a switch here over into Chaldron, hoping for another Flamethrower, and it actually goes for Thunderbolt this time as well. Now my worry here is, because I don't want to lose too much life with Chaldron, is that I was going to stay in, try to do a bit more damage to the Dragapult, and once I realised another Shadow Ball was going to take away too much life from me for what I had in plan against Leon's final Pokemon, I made a hard switch over into Punk. Leon also wastes his full restore here, which is perfect for us because it's better to just get it out of the way now than later on in the fight. We take a Dragon Breath. I'm praying to not get paralyzed. We don't. We hit the Night Slash, take down the Dragapult with a critical hit, even though I think it would have killed anyway. Nextly though, he sends out Rhyperior. I gotta make a hard switch over into Tango, and we take a Mega Horn on the switch. Next turn now, I'm gonna go for a Hammer Arm. We knock the Rhyperior down into midlife, and I take an Earthquake as well, which ended up doing a lot more damage than what I was actually predicting. Now my worry here is that I may have to sack Tango here. There's a few things that was playing on my mind. Firstly, it looked like the Hammer Arm was a damage roll, and secondly, I thought to myself that because I lost speed from the original Hammer Arm, if I don't outspeed here, then I also die to Earthquake. So it's kind of worrying. I decided in the end that I was going to stay in and go for the second Hammer Arm. We managed to get the damage roll, take down the Rhyperior without losing Tango, which was absolutely perfect. We then got Haxorus after, and Haxorus is going to be a bit of an issue. Kind of running a bit low on Pokemon. I'm not really sure where I want to go. I do stay in with Tango though and take an Earthquake. Puts me onto really low life. I hit this with a Strength, which is going to knock it to just above its own half-life. Switch then over into Trophy, because my plan here is I need to stay in with Trophy at the moment for when Charizard comes. It goes for Outrage. That actually does quite a bit more damage than I thought it was, but thankfully we get some Rocky Helmet Recoil, and with its life being where it is now, I can go finish this off with a Drill Peck, which means everything's worked out perfectly for us now, because Leon's going to send out his final Pokemon Charizard. Immediately he's going to go Gigantamaxis, but before he can, I'm going to go make a switch over into Chaldron. Because I had Trophy out, it's most likely going to go for a Fire type move, which it does. Chaldron tanks this without taking pretty much any damage. It activates our Steam Engine ability. I'm also going to go Dynamax Chaldron as well, just so I can do some extra damage with this move. As I outspeed, go for Max Rockfall, take down the Charizard with a one-shot, and defeat Leon, meaning that we've beaten the challenge and we've beaten the run. Guys, I really hope you've all enjoyed this video. I'm really sorry about the delay. I've actually been really sick over the last couple of weeks, as mentioned a bit earlier into the video, and I've had some other things going on that I'm not really going to speak about just yet, but we're all good now. We're back, and what's kind of nice is, even though I've been sick, I've still been recording. So right now, once this video goes up, I'm immediately working on another video that I've recorded, and I'm also going to try to maybe start live streaming. You know them short live streams? I think I want to try that with a hardcore Nuzlocke soon. Shiny only one as well, so there's going to be a lot of shiny hunting. It's going to be really cool. Anyway guys, I hope you've all enjoyed the video. If you have, make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you're new. We're so close to hitting 6,000 subscribers now, and I really feel like we're going to hit that over the next coming weeks. So if you are new here, want to see more content like this, make sure you smack that. I'd love for you to stick around. And with that all said, it's been Ant, and I will see you all in another video very soon. Peace out guys.